Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Mama Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Rancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Nischatyadeshatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Gopala Krishna Maharaj ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Gopal Hari Prabhu was mentioning of how we were with His Holiness Kadamba Maharaj in his final days in Sri Vrindavan Dham. And one morning we were in a conversation and he began speaking about musical chairs. I don't know if they played that game in America, but somehow or other the topic came up about musical chairs. So all of you know that they often do that, you know, there's a certain number of chairs in a circle and then the music goes on, everyone has to stand, and when the music stops, everyone has to take a chair. But there's always one chair less and someone gets eliminated from the game. So Maharaj, we were speaking about this and he began saying that when I was young, I liked this game very much. And as life went by, I realized it wasn't just a game, but it's reality. Because what happens at every stage of life is that the music begins and everything begins to change in our life. Nothing stays constant. You can't stay in the same seat. In your life, everything will change. Your body changes, your relationships change, the place where you live changes, your abilities change, everything changes. And then at one point the music will stop and then one will realize there's no chair. I have to move on. And so we were talking and Maharaj said, I realized musical chairs is actually, it's more than a game, it's life. And in those final days, His Holiness Gopala Krishna Maharaj actually came to see His Holiness Kadamba Maharaj, and it was a big thing because I think at that time Maharaj wasn't coming to Vrindavan. His health was also not so good. And also Kadamba Maharaj was staying, I think, on the 3rd floor of the building, and there was no lift. But still Gopala Krishna Maharaj made that endeavor to come all the way to Sri Vrindavan Dham, and he walked up all of those stairs and they had a very wonderful meeting, and it was wonderful to see them exchange. And when Maharaj left and His Holiness Kadamba Maharaj, we were speaking, and he said Gopala Krishna Maharaj is very, very special, because what he did is he sold his life to the people. He never held any of his life back for himself. The entirety of his life he sacrificed for others. This is very, very beautiful. Krishna one day was in Vrindavan and he was in the forest. And as the cowherd boys were sitting underneath the trees, then Krishna looked at one of the trees and he said something very beautiful. Aho esham varam janma sarva prani upajivinam sujanasya vaye samvai vimukha narthayatina. Krishna looked at the tree and he said, Aho esham varam janma. Just look at this tree. This tree's life is exalted. Why? For two reasons. Sarva prani upajivanam. Because every bit of the tree is used in service to others. From the roots, to the trunk, to the branches, to the leaves, to the flowers, to the fruits, to the shade that it offers. Every aspect of a tree is used in service to others. And then Krishna said, Sujanasya vaye samvai. The tree, secondly, is very glorious because whoever comes to a tree, they never leave disappointed. They always get what they're looking for. So Krishna says the great souls are like this. They sacrifice everything, every last bit of energy. And we are so fortunate that we have living examples of this. There is the book Bhagavat, and then there is the living Bhagavat, the Vyakti Bhagavat, the manifest teachings of the Bhagavat before our eyes. And therefore, to come across someone like His Holiness Gopala Krishna Maharaj was to come across someone who was actually living those principles, completely embracing those principles in their life. When I think about Srila Prabhupada and all the gifts that he left for us, my conclusion after thinking about it deeply is that the greatest gift that Srila Prabhupada left for us, amongst all of his wonderful gifts, the greatest gift that Srila Prabhupada actually left for us was his own disciples. Because if you think about it, we wouldn't know anything, especially for our second and third generation, we wouldn't know anything about Srila Prabhupada if it wasn't for his disciples. We wouldn't have access to his books if it wasn't for his disciples. We wouldn't have temples to go to and communities to participate in if it wasn't for his disciples. And if it wasn't for the sacrifice of his disciples, we wouldn't be sitting here today. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada's greatest gift actually to this world is his own disciples in whom he invested his spirit. And there were some of his disciples who really opened their heart to receive Srila Prabhupada's spirit in totality. And His Holiness Gopala Krishna Maharaj was one of those special souls. For me, three things really stand out about Maharaj. The first is that Maharaj followed Srila Prabhupada's standards without any compromise from the beginning right till the end. In an age we're living in where it's so easy to be distracted, it's so easy to dilute things, it's so easy to consciously or unconsciously deviate from what Srila Prabhupada actually wanted of us. Maharaj was an example of someone who stuck very, very closely to every single one of Srila Prabhupada's standards. He did the basic, foundational, fundamental things that Srila Prabhupada wanted of each one of us. Sometimes those things are maybe not so glamorous. Waking up early every single day, reading Srila Prabhupada's books every single day. You know, these kind of basic foundational principles Maharaj followed so strictly with such devotion. We'd often watch him on YouTube, when he couldn't go to the morning program, he'd do his own morning program in the room, worshipping his deities. And whenever he was at a temple, he would come and offer the arti on the altar himself. We all witnessed that. So this is very, very beautiful. Sometimes we think that to advance in spiritual life, we need to do something extraordinary. But maybe we just need to do the simple things really, really well. We need to do the simple things with great devotion, with great depth, and with great dedication. And Maharaj was an example of that. The second thing which I really appreciate about Maharaj was his spirit of mission. His spirit to keep expanding the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The great devotees, they are always thinking big. The great devotees never think that we've done enough and now we can rest. The great devotees are never satisfied with whatever achievements have been there, knowing that there's so much more that can and should be done. And so Gopal Krishna Maharaj was constantly one of these individuals who was just continually expanding, never resting. So many temples, so many books, so many devotees, and still ever inspired, ever enthusiastic. Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada set it up as a movement. And a movement means something which is always expanding, which is always moving, reaching out to new people. And if we lose this, then we lose the very spirit of what Srila Prabhupada set up. So we need these examples like Maharaj who really show us that this spirit of mission and expanding the movement is alive, and it's something we can all be part of. So I really appreciate this about Maharaj, how he was always expanding. And the third thing I really, really appreciate about Maharaj is that although he was such an influential leader, although he was so powerful in many ways, he never got sidetracked in the controversies, the confusions, the heated debates that go on in our communities, in our temples, in our movements. Somehow or other, he just never got drawn into that. He never became diverted or distracted by these cursory conversations. He was there, he was a leader, he was a GBC, but you never saw him get sidetracked into all of these things that can sometimes consume our consciousness. He knew it was going on, he observed it, he spoke and acted when he needed to, but he just stayed focused on the real thing. And that is a great lesson for all of us, because it's so easy to get sidetracked by gossip, to get sidetracked by controversy, to get sidetracked by politics and so many things. But Gopal Krishna Maharaj, he never got into that. He just stayed focused. He knew what his business was, and he knew where to put his time and energy, and he just continued doing that again and again. So I sometimes feel these are three very simple lessons, but three very powerful things. Number one, if you do the basic things very, very well. Number two, if you always stay focused on being selfless and trying to help others and trying to expand this Krishna consciousness movement. And number three, just make sure you don't get sidetracked into things that in the ultimate scheme of things aren't really that important. Just stay focused. And if we could do these three things just as Maharaj has done incredibly, then what beautiful lives we could lead. And so it is painful when the Vaishnavas leave. But as we know, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, he reasons ill who tells that Vaishnavas die when thou art still living in sound. The Vaishnavas die to live, and living they spread the holy name around. Sometimes they ask the question that why did Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who wrote all about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life, who wrote the most authoritative account of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, why in the Chaitanya Charitamrita did he not speak about the disappearance of Chaitanya Dev? So this question is sometimes raised by different commentators. He talked about everything, but why didn't he talk about the disappearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So often the answer that's given is that it was too painful. It was too painful for Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami to even think about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaving this world, and therefore he didn't write about it. But one commentator, he gives another insight. He said, actually, that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami didn't talk about Mahaprabhu's disappearance is actually very, very significant for a deeper philosophical reason. Because he says, when you look at the Chaitanya Charitamrita, then what is the very, very final chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita? Shikshashtakam. So he said Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ended the Chaitanya Charitamrita with the Shikshashtakam, because the Shikshashtakam are the essential instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it's not just that he didn't want to write about Mahaprabhu's disappearance, but what he was also teaching us is that Mahaprabhu never disappeared. Because the final chapter of Mahaprabhu's life is his instructions. And whoever follows those instructions, whoever dedicates their heart, their mind, their soul, their energy, their effort, their endeavor to fulfilling those instructions, for them Mahaprabhu is living even today. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he himself confirms that. Adya piha shay leela kaha gauraroy, kona kona bhagyavan dekhi bar pai. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are going on even today. Kona kona bhagyavan. But who is that fortunate soul? Dekhi barapoy. Only they can see. So this is also another deep insight, that Mahaprabhu never left. Mahaprabhu is still here. Mahaprabhu's pastimes are going on even today. But who is that Bhagyavan? Who is that very fortunate person who takes the instructions of Mahaprabhu into their heart? They live with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then there are all the agents of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in one sense, they have not left either. He reasons the spiritual master lives forever in his instructions, and the follower lives with him. So that we hear many, many times. But that is very, very real. That is very, 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 very much perceivable. Yes, at one point we will all have to go through this experience where the spiritual master leaves the world. And the way I perceived it was that this is an unwelcome gift. The spiritual master's disappearance from the world is an unwelcome gift. It's a gift that we will never welcome. It's a gift that we will never accept. It's a gift that we will never be able to joyfully embrace. But it's a gift nevertheless. Because it's a gift which allows us to upgrade, uplift, and elevate our connection with our spiritual master. Now it has to go deeper. Now it has to be a connection which goes beyond just a physical interaction. It has to go beyond the connection in which there is just, yes, some exchange on this plane of existence in our interactions, but it has to now mature into a meeting of hearts, where one's heart, one's will becomes one with the spiritual master. So it's a great challenge, and at the same time every challenge is a great opportunity. And so today we are remembering Maharaj, and to remember Maharaj means to remember his instructions. And the instructions come in two ways. The instructions that he vocalized from his own divine mouth, but also the instructions that he gave by his own example. Therefore, actually, the spiritual master continues to give us instructions even after he leaves. Because, number one, if the disciple continues to hear very intently from the spiritual master, then one will actually perceive the spiritual master speaking to them even after their departure. Srila Prabhupada once said, "I instruct my disciples privately in public." So the first thing to understand is that, yes, your instructions are your connection, but number one, those instructions continue to come. And number two, remember the second type of instruction is the instruction which comes from observing the character, the heart of the spiritual master. And therefore, after the spiritual master has left, if one continues to meditate, if one continues to deepen their understanding of their guru, if one continues to hear about the multifaceted dimensions of the guru's personality, then as one meditates on that personality more and more, then one receives instructions as to what they need to do in their life in that way. And so the relationship with the guru is always alive. The relationship with the guru is always something that is accessible and available. But the disappearance is an unwelcome gift that inspires us and impels us to actually go deeper in that connection. So we pray for the mercy of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. If our life would be 1% of what he did, even that would be glorious. His legacy will continue on through his disciples and through his followers and through all of those individuals who take his spirit. And let us remember those three things: to follow the basics very well, to always be concerned of spreading Srila Prabhupada's movement, and to not get sidetracked into unnecessary, unimportant things that in the grand scheme won't matter that much. Let us stay focused on the essence and be a Saragrahi Vaishnav as Maharaj was. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki, ISKCON Guru Bhakta Vrinda ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. So thank you very much. These were just some of words of my appreciation, and I'm sure this evening so many more devotees will share. My apologies that we can't stay for the whole program because we are on the move. Something else is organized this evening, but hoping to be with all of you and learn from you and benefit from your association in the coming days. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. The way you spoke was so touching and so deep that it seems like you spent years with Maharaj. And what you spoke was so like, I mean, it's like, how did you know? It's so amazing, so deep. That shows your connection with the Guru Parampara and with Guru Maharaj. It was very, very moving, and I want to listen to this many times, many, many times. I'd like to request Premananda Mataji, our temple president, just to say a few words, and then Maharaj will let you go. But we'll just
I was not prepared to say anything, but all I can say is we are really, really blessed to have you here, Maharaj. And also, as Gopal Hari Prabhu said, what you spoke, it really resonated very deep in my heart. I also will be hearing that class again many times. I was just thinking that His Holiness Kadambakanana Maharaj also left the planet, and you have experienced what it is to be separated from the physical presence of your spiritual master. And now His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj's disciples are going through the same thing. And it is Krishna who sent you here. Otherwise, Naperville is somewhere like nobody knows where Naperville is. And so Krishna specially brought you here to give us this message, and it is extremely touching to the heart and very inspiring. I deeply appreciate your classes very much, and I'm sure there are many in this community who are hearing as well. And you are a gift to all of us from Srila Prabhupada through your spiritual master. And thank you for coming and giving us your association. Thank you very, very much. This is a young community. You don't have any senior disciples other than by age. I am the oldest, I think, here. Other than that, everybody is very young people with a couple of children and a lot of youth here. You are having a separate program with them. I really wanted to thank you for that also, because I spent 30 years of my life teaching children, and this project came by educating the children. And out of that program, my Guru Maharaj inspired us to have a temple, and that's how this came about. And so I'm very grateful to you for instructing our youth also, because it's so beneficial for all of us. And I pray that you keep coming back here at least once a year during. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj ki jai.
Wasn't that so wonderful? This is just so touching. I mean, it's one of the nicest talks words I've heard. So many wonderful, you could say, appreciations. But it's. I heard a similar appreciation from Guru Prasad Maharaj, His Holiness Romapad Maharaj, amazing appreciation. From so many of our senior, sadhus like who are godbrothers of Guru Maharaj. And Swami Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj very much embodies the same mood, very deep. So we will have the opportunity to hear from him again on Saturday. So really looking forward to that. And morning classes also, okay. Are they in person or on Zoom? At the temple, okay. So we have morning classes, and then we have the home program at Varsana Mataji and Gangana Prabhu's home on Saturday. So we will take full advantage. So now I was thinking that before we do anything else, it would be nice to hear a few minutes, like 5 minutes from His Holiness Gopala Krishna Maharaj. And we have a tight schedule, so I didn't choose an entire class. This is just 5 minutes, a 5-minute short clip. It's one of my favorite clips of Maharaj. And because this was only 1 or 2 years, a few years before his departure, and it was almost like through the departure of another great Vaishnava, he was instructing us, he was instructing the devotees, all the devotees, how to be prepared and what he wanted in just 5 minutes. So I'll just play that.
Also, one small request is maybe the people in the back would like to come forward, because we are not in the temple, which the sound system technology is good, but it's not so loud, so everyone should come.
Oh, there is. Which also participated. And right after the meeting, he left for America. Why did he go to America? He had started a project in America in which the goal was to show the American public the importance of cow protection. Cow is one of our mothers, and cow should be protected. So he had started a project in Florida, and the project was making good progress. So Bhakti Swami was a very respected leader. He was invited virtually everywhere, all over the world. He was completely dedicated to Prabhupada and a very humble devotee. He was one of our very popular leaders. And he played a big role in expanding the movement. All of us are going to go away. We all realize that everything is temporary. So you devotees should be trained up to carry the movement forward. And Lord Chaitanya has predicted in this Krishna conscious movement going for the next 10,000 years. So we should all become serious devotees and do our best to expand this movement. Purity is the force. So Bhakti Swami had many disciples. So naturally the disciples are sad when they see the special master has departed. But as we said earlier, we're all going to depart today or tomorrow. And if we are fixed up spiritually, there's nothing to worry. The pure devotee is always engaged in serving the mission of the Lord. To him, living or dying is the same. When he lives to protect the Vedic culture, he lives to serve the Lord. And the Lord decides now he has to go to some other part of the world. He does that with no hesitation. Bhakti Swami tried his best to preach, and he was also very scholarly. He was very scholarly and respectable there. He passed away yesterday. His life was fully dedicated to Prabhupada. He was fully dedicated to the Lord. And there's nothing to worry. Bhakti Swami acted in the direction of the Lord. And according to the desire of the Lord, he will go ahead and preach for the Lord's desire. So on this day, we want to offer our obeisances and pray that we may all become serious, determined, like Bhakti Swami, in serving the mission of the Lord. In happiness and difficulty, our goal is only one, to please the Lord. So, Bhakti Swami gave us a good example of how to serve the Lord with determination and not aspire for any facilities or material benefit. And we should cultivate that mood and make spiritual advancement. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Technology. Mine goes.
So while the technology is setting up, I'll just share a short memory so you can utilize this time. It's kind of just spontaneous. I've been writing these small memories, just memories from different travels, different times. So this was one short memory. Guru Maharaj would go on a japa walk every morning. He often said that the Boise River Greenbelt was his favorite place to walk in the USA. This is where I grew up, Boise. The path was flat, the river gushing alongside, almost overflowing, and the mornings were sunny, bright and crisp. Boise, Idaho is a valley nestled between the Rocky Mountains. As Idaho is a desert, the climate is not humid, creating a very pleasant atmosphere in the mornings and evenings. For over 30 years, Guru Maharaj would visit Boise annually. He would generally come for only 24 to 48 hours, hold 3 programs, meet every devotee who lived there, solve problems, and still find it to be a break. He often remarked, "Boise is my rest stop." During his morning walks, the atmosphere was idyllic. There were lush green surroundings next to the river and peaceful vibes. Yet 2 things would regularly interrupt the tranquility. First were the ants. Guru Maharaj would stop or move aside every few minutes to avoid them. He would also implore us to watch out for the ants. Quote, "Don't step on the ants, it will cause them pain," he would say. Second were the men fishing by the river. Whenever Guru Maharaj saw someone fishing, he would stop and lovingly ask, "Are you fishing?" The man would reply, "Yes." Maharaj would gently admonish, "You should not fish, it causes pain to the fish." And as though delivering the final blow, he would say, "Today you are fishing, tomorrow you will be fished." The man would turn pale. Once when a man was fishing some distance away, Maharaj called me, "Gopal Hari, go and tell that man that fishing is not good." I wasn't thrilled to receive this instruction. But as I had just received a direct and immediate order from my spiritual master, I had no choice. But being in my early teens at the time, I ran up to the well-built man, sporting a beard and full mustache and blue jeans, dressed like someone out of the Wild West. Timidly but loudly, I repeated Maharaj's words, "Sir, you shouldn't fish. It's not good for you to fish. It causes the fish pain." The man, shocked and disturbed, turned his head toward me and snarled. I had expected the same response that people gave to Guru Maharaj, one of wonder and acceptance. Taken aback by the opposite reaction, I mustered up all my courage and blurted out the final line. "Today you are fishing, tomorrow you will be fished." Upon hearing this, the man shifted his fishing rod to his right hand and raised it as though he was going to strike me. I panicked and ran back to Maharaj's walking party. Thankfully, the man didn't chase me. I learned a lot from this incident. This is the difference between the spiritual master and disciple. The disciple cannot imitate the spiritual master. The spiritual master's instructions must be followed, but should be applied with intelligence and humility. Prabhupada often said that an old man could say anything, but his young disciples should not imitate him. And it's not just about age. One must preach according to one's spiritual potency. Maharaj would follow Srila Prabhupada strictly, but never imitate him. Srila Prabhupada often gave his shoes as Mahaprasadam to his disciples. So we would sometimes ask Maharaj for his Mahaprasad shoes. But he would humbly respond, "I don't feel qualified to give my shoes like Srila Prabhupada." Despite this, sometimes devotees would smuggle away his shoes, much to Maharaj's dismay. On another occasion, some servants tried to imitate Maharaj's style in dealing with devotees. His interactions seemed so effortless and perfect that we thought copying it might yield similar results. But alas, such efforts would quickly turn disastrous. In his letters, for example, Guru Maharaj would begin by writing Camp Delhi, Camp Boise, so the recipient would know where he was. Once, after observing his servant doing this in his own personal letters, I didn't do this, but Guru Maharaj plainly said, "Don't copy my style." The walk continued, and as passerby walked or cycled past us, they would greet us with hello or good morning. We often responded in kind, but Guru Maharaj reminded us, no, say Hare Krishna. One devotee responded to the passerby very nicely by saying, "Good morning, Hare Krishna." Or Hare Krishna, chant the names of God. Maharaj was very pleased and said, "See, this is preaching." As Maharaj is an ideal guru, he embodies the principle, Yare dekhe tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Wherever you go, whoever you meet, tell them about Krishna. So maybe in the evening I'll share some more of these, but right now I wanted to share this. Oh, this is a envelope. It's just duplicate. Okay. Cut it. I thought that before we have offerings from all the devotees, from different people devotees who want to say things, it's good to just say a little bit about his life, because many of you may not know, what exactly, Maharaj did. We all have a basic idea. So some glorification just about his life, and then we can have offerings soon after that. So one of the instructions that Guru Maharaj received from Srila Prabhupada was to connect with, to influence those who influence others, right? The leaders of society. And while Srila Prabhupada was on the planet, he actually asked Maharaj that you cultivate Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And at that time, Vajpayee was not the Prime Minister of India. But Prabhupada said he's the only honest man in the government of India at that time. So Prabhupada said he may become a Prime Minister. Imagine, Prabhupada had the vision where he knew that someone would become the Prime Minister. So Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Guru Maharaj, they had a good friendship. But that friendship started before he became a Prime Minister, from what Srila Prabhupada told him. But long before that, Maharaj was meeting with the Indian Prime Ministers. So this is His Holiness Vyasapuja Maharaj and other devotees meeting the Indian Prime Minister, Morarji Desai. Then in 1989, he met Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. And when Srila Prabhupada was on the planet, then he is still on the planet, when Srila Prabhupada is physically here, then there's one fine day where he called Tamal Krishna Maharaj in his room, very famous incident. He called Tamal Krishna Maharaj in his room and he said, "You go to China." And Maharaj didn't want to, but he goes to China. And then after that, he called His Holiness Gopala Krishna Maharaj in his room, and he told him, "You go to Russia." So one of the first places where Maharaj was preaching was in Russia, and not that well known, but he was there behind the Iron Curtain. Maharaj was also poisoned once, and he went to the hospital after that. He had actually received some sort of poison like that, but he survived it. He was, no one survives it, but he survived it. And so one of the ways in which he had a very powerful effect on the Soviet Union, on Russia, was through his relationships in India. So the specific place that Srila Prabhupada gave him to cultivate, asked him to cultivate, was Delhi. And Delhi, you think, well, that's India, that's Russia, but it had a very close connection, because he would impress the Indian politicians by the Russian devotees. Look, all these Western devotees are there. And he would use his connections, employ his connections with the Indian politicians and prime ministers to influence the Russians, to free the Russian devotees from prison, to get them visas to come to India, to allow the building of the temple in Moscow, which we have now. It was directly influenced by Indian politicians from the highest level, prime ministers speaking to people in second or third positions in the Russian government. So it was a intercontinental strategy because, as you know, India and Russia have good political relations. So they would influence one another. Same thing in where His Holiness Bhakti Bringa Govinda Maharaj preaches. Kazakhstan, I think is it? Yes. Yes. So the Indian politicians helped there at that time when there was a great calamity. The government was stopping the movement. So this is there. And then in 1998, it was the opening of the first major temple, the Glory of India temple. And to this day, there are now 18 temples about this size. One or two of them are actually larger. There's 18 temples in Delhi. And this one is a cornerstone. It was built on a piece of land that Srila Prabhupada himself had identified. But they were not giving him that land. So Maharaj actually went to the government officials every single day for 1 year. Every single day he would go there, sit outside for 2 hours and beg them for the land. And the people there, they reminiscence that they had never seen someone so determined. Because every day they would just walk past him and not give him the land. But after 1 year, they actually signed the papers and gave this land. And this temple was opened by Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And there were a speech given by the Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, at that time. And I remember that after that speech came out, before this time, no one had endorsed ISKCON on the political level so publicly. So people were still thinking that ISKCON is like a CIA or something, funny in India. But after the Prime Minister Vajpayee praised Srila Prabhupada so much, and it was all over the TV, it gave people confidence, like it changed the vision of how this movement was seen. And it was his speech, the Prime Minister's speech, that after that my own uncle became a devotee, joined ISKCON. He said, okay, yeah, I think now it's okay. I can join ISKCON. So I'm not going to read this because we don't have time. So Maharaj gave one speech here, very beautiful speech. And I'll read just a few lines of the Prime Minister's speech. The Maha Mantra of Hare Krishna, Hare Ram reverberates to the dancing feet of ISKCON devotees each morning and evening in the temples from Stockholm to Sao Paulo and from Miami to Mayapur. What ISKCON has achieved is globalization of the message of the Gita. Some people say my government is opposed to globalization, but let me say this, I am all in favor of globalization of the message of the Gita. So very positive, very amazing. And then he said, if today the Bhagavad Gita is printed in millions of copies in scores of languages and distributed in all nooks and corners of the world, the credit for this great sacred service goes chiefly to ISKCON. For this one accomplishment alone, Indians should be eternally grateful. Indians should be eternally grateful to the devoted army of Swami Prabhupada's followers. So Srila Prabhupada was on the front page in the in the news and the main channels of every place in India, and then ISKCON became a great matter of pride. In fact, other organizations started to steal the banner of ISKCON, and they would collect money in the name of ISKCON. That's how much credibility it had. So what Maharaj did is he employed the principle of Yukta Vairagya, where he utilized the Indian nationalist spirit to spread Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission in India. He said, okay, people are nationalists, they want Indian culture, and he allowed them to feel that this is an Indian thing and let the government officials endorse it. ISKCON became a symbol of Ram Rajya. Yet he was careful not to turn the strategy into an ideology, meaning that, but he himself, when he spoke, he never presented ISKCON as an Indian thing. He always said, it is international. It is beyond the borders of India. He never allowed any casteism in his temples, which was very natural at that time. Devotees, from higher castes would, because it was very traditional. This was like years ago. but so many small incidences happened that where he would break that understanding. So he utilized the nationalist spirit, but he never let it become the philosophy. He just used it as an ideology. In March 18th, 2016, he met the Prime Minister, current Prime Minister, Prime Minister Modi, and presented to him the Bhagavad Gita, a very special one. Here we see some certificates being given. Oh, the Guinness Book of World Records. What was this about? I'm just blanking out. Oh, yes. So that's coming, yes. Yep. And this is at the Prime Minister's residence. He went to his home to visit him. Actually, he was visiting him so regularly that in Delhi, and my wife can confirm this, people generally thought that he's the Prime Minister's guru. When we moved to Naperville and we got our house in White Eagle, then 3 houses down, our neighbor, she came to us and she said, oh, my brother's in ISKCON. Also, my brother's in ISKCON. He lives in Toronto. And he's the disciple of the Prime Minister's guru. It's the honest truth. She comes and said, he must not be an ISKCON devotee. I think you're mistaken, I told her. Because none of our gurus are the Prime Minister's guru. I said, no, he's an ISKCON guru, and he's the Prime Minister's guru. I said, who is that? This is Gopala Krishna Gosvami. Don't you know him? Yeah, you've heard of him. Yes, no, so it was very, very sweet, the exchange. And again, he never endorsed himself with a political party. He never spoke in a political way, not even one speech. And that's why he was so attractive, because he was so simple. Like Maharaj's classes were so simple that, sometimes you would feel like, why is it so simple? Like he would preach so simply. And so to the point, just repeating Prabhupada's words. Yet it was so attractive. His purity, his devotion, his humility was so attractive that the politicians loved him. They just would seek him out. And like, for example, when Maharaj's Vyasapuja would happen each year, then so many of the Delhi residents would go to it. And one of them was my in-laws, where we never told him that Maharaj's Vyasapuja is coming. You should go because she's a disciple of him. But they would just automatically go. It's kind of like the event of the city. You go to very much like His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj is in, Calcutta, Bengal. He's in, he has pictures in people's bedrooms, kind of people just saw him everywhere, and with the leaders of the nation. So this is him again showing a picture of the world's largest Gita. And then this is when the Prime Minister actually came and inaugurated the world's largest Gita. And this Gita was actually made in Italy by the Italian devotees, to my knowledge. Or maybe the souvenir was made, and maybe this was made in India, but it was designed for sure by the Italian devotees. Where exactly it was made, I'm not sure, but it weighed more than a ton. It was it's still there. You can go to Delhi and to the east of Kailash temple and flip the pages of this massive Gita. Well, you actually can't flip it. It needs a special machine to do it. It's huge. So, yeah. And here you see their kind of friendship, discussing, talking in different ways. Yes. So, temples became a symbol of Ram Rajya, became a place where prime ministers came regularly and opened them. He had very much Srila Prabhupada's spirit that he couldn't think small. He had to bring the person on the top. It couldn't be the third person or the fourth person. Kind of this within just, this isn't kind of, it's, well, no problem now, it's all over YouTube. But like Maharaj had such connections in the embassies and these things, where if a devotee needed a visa to come to India, the waiting period was 10 years. So like her brother was trying to come, it would take 10 years because they're so backed up, even tourist visas, because everyone from India wants to come to America. And so one time he needed one for a devotee. They made a few phone calls, and in 2 days they got their visa, 10-year visa, no questions asked. He never went for an interview. The visa just came. So very, very much in that mood. So Bhagavad Gita, as Vachvi mentioned, became the symbol of ISKCON and national identity. The Gita, therefore the world's largest Gita, was the identity that, okay, we are all connected through the Bhagavad Gita, which is what Srila Prabhupada mentioned, that the Gita is a book that every Hindu must accept, right? And so one of his major services was to be a trustee, which he was until the end of his life, of the BBT, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, and this was one of the warehouses that he and other devotees there, we see Devakinandan Prabhu, Rajhari Prabhu and others, completed just like a year before he departed. Very amazing warehouse. And then every year, Modi would write a Prime Minister's message to ISKCON. And then the coin. So Guru Maharaj felt that his love for Srila Prabhupada was very deep. That was his driving force in his life. And it was so deep, like a small example, like someone gave him a very beautiful sweatshirt to wear. It was like a zipper jacket, and it was a Prabhupada jacket. And they had put Srila Prabhupada's picture on the back. You have a jacket and the back is there. Maharaj appreciated it, and his assistant at that time took it and put it away. And then brought it out the next day and said, Maharaj, you can wear this now. And he said, no, I won't wear it. So why you won't wear it, Maharaj? This is your disciple handmade it and it was so nice, all these things. He said, because Srila Prabhupada is in the back. And I can't put Srila Prabhupada in the back. So he wanted to make a coin, a commemorative coin. And in COVID, everything was locked down. He thought, oh, this is a great time. Let's spend this time to make a coin. So he made a coin, and there's the Prime Minister at that time during COVID. He had grown a beard. And they're on Zoom unveiling this coin, this commemorative coin for Srila Prabhupada that is still there. Many stamps were also made over the years. He made Srila Prabhupada stamps for 1996, the centennial. And Prime Minister Modi said some very amazing things about Srila Prabhupada. In his speech, Prime Minister Modi said that Prabhupada had supernatural devotion for Lord Krishna. Prabhupada was a great devotee of Bharat. So he was our our ambassador to the world. And he said, wherever we go to any other country, and when people meet there saying Hare Krishna, we feel a sense of belonging and pride. So Modi had traveled quite a bit, and wherever he went, he saw devotees there. He said it's a matter of such pride. And in fact, in a speech, he says that India can learn from ISKCON on how to market Indian products. ISKCON did the best job on taking the Gita and marketing it everywhere, that India could learn that. Right? So great appreciation. There's many newspaper articles that came out. This is the President of India receiving a small deity of Srila Prabhupada. He gave them deities of Prabhupada, the beautiful souvenir Gitas. So this was his work in terms of making Krishna consciousness established in India. Many devotees said one of his specific contributions was to bring ISKCON from a kind of a background movement to the forefront as a mainstream religion movement of India, across borders, across the different states and regions of India, on primetime television, etc., through Delhi, by using that place and influence. Yes. And finally, just to end very quickly, the other was his contribution of temples. And there's many devotees who give many different numbers, and I'm not, you could say, saying that any is correct, but some devotees say that he oversaw, established, looked after 225 temples during his 55 years of service in the movement. And even if that's an exaggeration, it's still such a huge number, you know. And there was a GBC secretary, Govinda Priya Mataji, someone I was speaking to once, and she said that she was once kind of counting the temples that different devotees were looking after. And she counted Maharaj's temples, and she, after counted, she said that Maharaj would have to sleep in a different temple every day for 2 years to visit every temple that he was looking after or connected with. So he had a huge impact on the movement as a whole, was looking after many areas, India, Pakistan, Russia. He was the GBC for Canada for a very long time, Africa, Mauritius, East Africa, Mauritius, and Pakistan, and some other places. So, but in Delhi, he departed right after building 18 temples. And that's because he actually writes, we read in his Vyasapuja, in his last Vyasapuja, that Srila Prabhupada had specifically given the instruction of the 18th temple. And this last one, it was taking a long time to build somehow, like everything would go wrong. The devotees were quite happy that it wasn't opening, because we all, our heart also, we were so excited because he was fulfilling Prabhupada's desire, and he was successful in that way, but we knew that after that something, you know, maybe, you know, it would also be a signal. And indeed it was literally a week after that Maharaj started saying, I won't stay here for very long. He had done his service, he just wanted, I think it was, who was it, maybe Indra Dumna Maharaj, I think, who said that to one of Maharaj's disciples, he said, your Guru Maharaj, which is the case with all Guru Maharajas, but just as a way of offering appreciation, he said that your Guru Maharaj can tell Srila Prabhupada that he fulfilled every single instruction that Prabhupada gave him. And that's what his life's purpose was, that's why he was here, and the moment it was done, he was ready to go to the next destination to serve Srila Prabhupada. And this 18th temple, you could actually see, like, he was so happy. These are the 18 temples, and many devotees thought that, well, as a pilgrimage, let's go and visit all 18 temples in Delhi. And most like devotees, they visit 4 or 5 and they give up, because Delhi traffic is so bad. If you make one wrong turn, that's 2 hours. Going from one place to another place is like 4 hours, isn't it? You know that. And in that city, to build even, you know, in Delhi today, land is sold by the square inch. Not by the square feet, not by the square meter, by the square inch. That's how valuable land in Delhi is. It's, you know, the second largest, in terms of population, the second largest city in India. In terms of cars, the #1 city in India. In terms of pollution, the #1 city in India. So it's like, you know, I once took an auto from the temple to one of the bazaars and had 2 near-death experiences on the way. To do anything in Delhi is so hard. You know, first the auto just about crashed, and the second time I fell off the auto, and then, you know, like everything wrong that could have happened. And in that place, right, trying to build 18 temples is no easy feat. Is no easy feat. He would sleep 2 to 3 hours a day. He was constantly traveling. Maharaj was constantly traveling. He would work so hard. He would work so hard that sometimes I would actually witness that foam would come out of his mouth. Like, he was working so hard that that it was unbelievable. It was just like he never took rest. He never had his day off. Like Maharaj has said here, he never had his day off. He never went on a retreat or a vacation. The only place he ever went was to the Ayurvedic clinic once or twice in South India. He went for some treatment there. And this is that 18th temple in Rohini. We see the grandeur of it. And the other 17 temples are no less. Maharaj was very happy about this. There's something special because because this temple was the first temple that had the Panchatattva outside of Mayapur. And Maharaj had all aspects in him, like he knew the importance of every part of Prabhupada's mission. So he wasn't like one thing was his thing. He loved deity worship. As you see, he was always on the altar. He loved deity worship. He loved building temples. He loved book distribution. He loved making devotees. He loved giving lectures. Like everything was his thing. Anything that was Prabhupada's mission was amazing. It was something that he loved. And then in the east of Kailash temple, they, about a year or two before he passed away, he established the Nrsimhadev temple. One of the things about Maharaj is his devotion to his personal deities. So this Nrsimhadev temple, there's only, I think, 3 or 4 in the world that ISKCON has. One in Mayapur, one in New Vrindavan, one in Germany, and this one in Delhi. And then his personal deity worship was very amazing. So Maharaj would be on the altar every morning with a Mangal Artik. That was his kind of hallmark. People remember him by always being on the altar. He would actually sometimes wake up like 15 minutes before the Artik would start. Because he would be meeting guests until midnight or 12:30, and then take rest by 1:30. So he would wake up at like 3:45, but he would get ready in 7 or 8 minutes, and then he would run to the altar and go there. And once in a while, even they would delay the opening of the curtains if Maharaj was just coming, because they knew that Maharaj had to come. And after he would do the program there, then he would come home. And remember, this is a person who's overseeing hundreds of temples, right? He had the most GBC duties. He just in terms of number of temples, he had by the end, something like 30,000 disciples, 35,000 disciples. He had every reason to have a simple deity worship, right? Some of the services, you think, okay, that's a place where I can cut down. But that was the thing that he loved doing the most. And every day for one and a half hours, he would do his deity worship to his about 250 Shaligram Shilas that he would travel with. In this box, there are 108, and then he had many others. He wouldn't travel actually with all of them, and some of them were back home. And in this connection, he had a very close connection with Aindra Prabhu. He said that Aindra Prabhu and him had a common love for worshipping Shaligram Shila and Giriraj Shila. This is a Giriraj Shila here. His assistants would help him with his deity worship. So I had the chance on many occasions when traveling with him to help him in his deity worship. So this Giriraj Shila here, when you take the crown off, it had a little footprint. And it was a footprint that Aindra Prabhu said was a footprint of Srimati Radharani. And people would ask him, well, where do you get your Shilas, Maharaj? They're like really fascinating Shilas. And Maharaj would always say that they come. I don't get them, they come. So it's Krishna coming to his devotee. Here we see this is a Shaligram Shila with a calf's footprint. Here is the line, this is Krishna's, again, lotus feet. There's here, this Govardhan Shila. If you remove the Tulsi leaf, it has, you can't see the cursor. This one here has an imprint of a Tulsi leaf there. And his altar would keep expanding. It's just like he was traveling every 2 days a different place, and we were already taking like 2-3 bags of deities. And then every year there would be another bag of deities that would be added. And so he had Ugra Nrsimha Shilas, 2 Ugra Nrsimha Shilas, Ugra Nrsimha, Lakshmi Nrsimha, and Prahlad Nrsimha. So all forms of Nrsimhadev, very attached to Nrsimhadev. And then he also had a golden deity, a brass deity. Yeah, so Prahlad Nrsimha, Ugra Nrsimha, and Lakshmi Nrsimha is hidden there. And so one day we saw that Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra also came. But luckily they came very small, and so they're there right there. But he even wanted them, like he wanted a full altar. And these were all Sheshanag Shilas. That's a Kurma Shila. and so many others. And he had his Prabhupada deity. And then he traveled extensively. America is one place he spent about 6 weeks out of the year. These are some pictures from America. This is my mother there with visiting. And then this is in Seattle, visiting the devotees there. This is in Toronto. This is one of the pictures there. This is in Boise. We had a Rath Yatra there in Boise, and Maharaj wanted to sweep the street as Lord Jagannath walked, and Maharaj himself could barely walk, and so yes. And then he would visit Russia a lot. Many memories from Russia. He would visit twice a year, every year. He had thousands of disciples in Russia, and he would visit every nook and corner of Russia. And just to, not in the later years when his health was ill, but just to give the intensity and an idea of the intensity of his travel, there in Russia, people would travel primarily by train. The planes weren't going to small places. So Maharaj would do 3 programs in the day. That was the standard morning, afternoon, evening program. 3 programs a day. And then he would travel at night by train. So at night, we would be in the train. It's like a 4-hour train or 5-hour train. That was a time to rest on the train. And, at the train, it stops, it jerks, you wake up. And during the day, he was doing programs. And so towards the end of the trip, the assistants, the servants would start losing their mind because you wouldn't get sleep. It was like you wouldn't get sleep. And if you deprive yourself from sleep, right, medically it's a fact, you actually start losing your mind. So one of his Russian servants, Anirudh, I remember, at the end he was just like, he was talking weird things. He would start saying funny things, and while he just smiled, he knew he hadn't slept in 3 weeks. So that was expected, right? Again, meeting guests. This is at one place in Russia. He once went to a town. Some parts of Russia are Muslim, they resemble the Middle East. The Russia is so large, and the terrain is amazing. It's you have just completely stone mountains, like desert, right? And it's kind of like Italy, maybe a little bit, but that terrain, kind of very picturesque, but very dry. And he visited this one house. It was this beautiful house in the middle of nowhere. We went in, and there's this man with a beard, and he was clearly a Muslim man, and he was standing there with his, I think, 3 or 4 wives. And he went in, and he had something like 25 children, and he's like a true Muslim family. And we got in, and this man, he's offering his obeisances to Maharaj. He takes off his turban, they wash his feet, they do puja to him, Maharaj takes prasad. And this man was a disciple. He was a Muslim man in Russia who had come to Krishna consciousness, and with his 3 wives and 27 children. And he was inviting him in his home. And Maharaj would visit him every year, and they would go and visit different places. So, very sweet memories, very amazing. It's just is this possible? We would just think that, actually this is possible because Krishna consciousness is truly amazing, truly powerful, truly amazing. And we see that, His Holiness Romabad Swami Maharaj, he went to Indianapolis, and the devotees, they were telling, his flight was 70 minutes late. He came off the plane, he got off, he took the car directly to the program, he gave a talk, and he just didn't need rest. He came off of a long flight, it was a late flight, so when he went from the plane directly to the program the next morning, then again he was speaking, and then in the afternoon he took the car, drive 4 hours or whatever back to Naperville. And it takes mystic powers to do this, and it's only by the strength of Krishna consciousness, of bhakti, that one can be on a plane and travel so much. And that was Maharaj had many servants and assistants because there was a high rotation rate, right? Because after 2 or 3 months, we would have to change services. And then on May 5th, 2025, Maharaj left this world. And Maharaj left. He didn't leave at Vrindavan. He left in Dehradun, where he was the day after he was. He did the groundbreaking ceremony for a temple there, and Maharaj always said that my devotees would very often come to him. His godbrothers, disciples, everyone would come to say, "Please take some rest." And he said, "No." He would say, "Please don't take away my privilege to serve Krishna. Please don't take away my privilege to serve Prabhupada and Krishna." And he said, "I want to die fighting in the battlefield like a soldier." Right? So that was his desire, and that's how he left his body. I think all these great souls, Bhakti Charu Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, they were showing us that service to Krishna, the spiritual master, preaching work, and whatever service it is so important that we should not even be afraid to die outside of Vrindavan. Right? Because the last time he came to Vrindavan, some of the devotees were very close to him, some of the very kind of advanced sadhus there. They told Maharaj that, "Maharaj, this time please don't go, because we feel that you're about to go. And so just leave your body in Vrindavan. Don't go." But Maharaj said, "No, I need to go. I'm not going to stop." And when he was in Mayapur in the GBC meetings, not long before he left in May, that was in March, again he told devotees, "I'm not going to stay for very long." He could have stayed in Mayapur, but he kept going. And so the Prime Minister, the President, so many people immediately wrote letters. Even before devotees asked them on their Facebook pages, on their things, they were honoring his passing. And in service to Srila Prabhupada, Maharaj departed on May 5th. This is a short biography of his life and his legacy. Srila Gopala Krishna Goswami. Srila Gopala Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. So I went a little over time. I was feeling that it's important that we get to know Maharaj, and then we can glorify him, appreciate him more. So now we'll have offerings by different devotees. Huh? Okay, so let's just have a few words, maybe at least by a few devotees. But this is my offering, and then we can conclude. What time is it? We still have time, right? 7:10, right? So according to the schedule, at 7:30 we'll have Pushpanjali and Artik, and then after that, then we have Prasad. So we have 23 minutes for offerings and that. Yes. So I'll just call in kind of in for a few devotees in order of seniority, and then other devotees who want to say something can come forward. So I'd first like to request Premananda Mataji, you can say a few words. No, I mean just 1 or 2 minutes, whatever you can say. Okay. Then I'll call my mother, you can come and say your offering to Guru Maharaj. Come quickly. Yeah, offering. You can just you can offer our base. Well, everyone wants someone else to go, so you can start. I'll first call upon the disciples, as it's customary, and then senior devotees. Should I leave it here or like this? Yeah. Maybe I can go to this side. Is that a problem? Of course.
Hare Krishna. This is Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So these are some of my memories with my spiritual master, His Holiness Gopala Krishna Gosvami Maharaj. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutle Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namne. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Shrimate Gopala Krishna Goswami Niti Namne. Prabhupadasya Sahitam Yabhakasya Vatinecha Pacharam Kita Sadhu. So, just a few memories of my Guru Maharaj, my time spent with Guru Maharaj. So, when our family moved to Boise, Guru Maharaj came every year to inspire us in a devotional life and oversee the temple and meet other devotees, many of whom took shelter of him. He looked relaxed in Boise because it was a small temple and not that many problems in the earliest years. Of course, when the temple expanded and more people embraced the path of Krishna consciousness, more challenges came. It was amazing that when Guru Maharaj came to Boise, he was able to solve all problems in the temple and knew exactly where the problem was and how to solve it. Since we were neophytes in our Krishna consciousness, there was a lot of purification which came through the merciful hand of Guru Maharaj. His instructions felt very difficult to follow, but we did nevertheless and got purified. Guru Maharaj was so patient and gentle with us, but had high expectations that we give up a false ego and become humble servants of all the Vaishnavas. He wanted us to become more mature and compassionate in our dealings with others. That was the need of the hour. His own personal example became my inspiration to advance further. In spite of all our faults, Guru Maharaj was always so proud of the Boise temple, and as he traveled, he would mention that quite a lot. Pleasing him and other sannyasis who visited Boise became my goal in life. To get their merciful glance and see them happy and satisfied with us gave me the impetus to keep going in spite of challenges. He was so expert in everything, giving classes, bringing in donation for the temple from life members, troubleshooting, etc. He would give instructions to newcomers in Krishna consciousness to chant 16 rounds, and they would do it. Guru Maharaj was on a strict diet, staying from all types of fat. In my zeal in the very early days of his visit to Boise, perhaps during the first visit, I cooked for him all types of savories and sweets, including gulab jamun. I thought Guru Maharaj would accept them just this once. Guru Maharaj told me, anyone can put tons of ghee or oil in the food and make it tasty, but the art is to make it palatable with little of it. I got the point. To please Guru means to follow his instructions meticulously. For himself, he was very austere. He hardly slept 3-4 hours every night. His schedule was very tight. He woke up for Mangal Aarti, did Mangal Aarti, went on a walk for 45 minutes, worshipped to the deities, and then met devotees and answered calls relating to temple management and issues that he would troubleshoot. This went on for many hours. Another nice thing about him is his book distribution. The devotees in Delhi under Maharaj since 2005 were the leading in India since 2005 in book distribution. And this was not a mere chance. It was because book distribution was among Maharaj's main focuses. He explained to devotees that Srila Prabhupada worked hard to write the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and his other books. And he did this in spite of old age and numerous health challenges. Maharaj requested devotees to reciprocate, to make an extra effort to distribute books with the same intensity and passion which Prabhupada brought to bear in writing. You know? Okay, I'll just skip a few things. Maharaj would skip lunch until late afternoon. Sometimes he would eat at 4 p.m., his first meal. Or later, he would fast. I personally saw that when he visited Boise, he did that. Guru Maharaj followed Prabhupada's example, whose regimen was rigorous, and he accomplished quite a bit as a result of this. In his old age, Prabhupada had to deal with many health issues, including 2 heart attacks on the boat, and he initially came to America and a stroke soon after. But he was undaunted, giving his life to his Guru's service and mission. Maharaj followed that example, moving like a tornado from country to country, worked hard to see Prabhupada's vision realized. From Delhi to Africa, from Russia to America, he carried on the mission of his predecessors, spreading love of Krishna wherever he went. Guru Maharaj was especially pleased when we took care of devotees nicely. He always told me to continue taking care of devotees even after they were initiated. He taught us to follow ideal Vaishnava behavior. He was very patient with us. Guru Maharaj is an ocean of mercy and selfless love, and he sets the ideal example of service to Vaishnavas. I particularly remember in Vrindavan when I would go, his room would be full with women, whose husbands had abandoned them, tons of, Russian girls and other girls, and he just gave shelter to everybody, it didn't matter, just whether you were a widow or whatever, he was just so loving and so caring. What I was seeing in my story that exemplifies his mood and everything is the story of Sudama and Krishna, which exemplified his mood. And the story is that when Sudama and Krishna went to gather wood in the forest in service to the Guru Maharaj, Sandipani Muni, there was a big storm and they got lost and could not find their way to the Gurukula. As we know the story, Sandipani Muni went to look for them, and what he saw really satisfied him. He saw that Krishna was holding the wood in one hand, and in the other he was holding Sudama's hand. So Krishna was making a point, how one must follow Guru's instructions while working cooperatively with others. This was Guru Maharaj's mood. He was really a Prabhupada man who followed the instructions to him very carefully, while working cooperatively with his God brothers. Okay. And his care for Vaishnavas is well known. And I remember my mother-in-law, she had gone with us for Brajmanda, and she was old, And Gopala was very little. He was like 8 years old. He got sick, so I had to rush him back to the nearest city to get him, the treatment for him. So she was left alone. And she was walking, it's like 300 kilometers. And she was walking one day, and she was behind the whole group, way behind. And so Maharaj was coming in the car to join the parikram, and he saw this old lady walking. And I don't know how he guessed it, but he stopped. He told the driver to stop the car and to find out, if she's part of the group, And then he had her sit in the car while he went walking. And that, of course, she took shelter from him. It's just completely, so that was his mood, One time, Gopal told me the story of Buddha came to Maharaj and asked for financial help. And she regularly came every month to do the same. The devotees tried to stop her from doing that, but Guru Maharaj said, in my last life I must have taken from her, so now I need to repay her, and willingly gave. I owe my personal spiritual growth to him. Whatever I was able to do was due to his instructions, gentle chastisement, and loving affection, and most of all his personal example. He was also pleased when I preached and brought people to the temple, especially Westerners, to Krishna consciousness. He said this was especially pleasing to Srila Prabhupada, who wanted the local people to be given Krishna consciousness, that they come to the temple, take initiation, not just the Indians. Maharaj was very particular of that. Even when he was GVC for Africa, Nairobi, and there's a very nice big Indian community, and they were all coming. And so these Indians were not preaching to the Africans, how they were thinking they're not very well educated and all that, why bother, And Prabhupada was very particular. And one time, the story goes that one African man was being cultivated to become a devotee. He was sitting in Prabhupada's class and wearing Prabhupada's clothes. He had stolen his clothes. Prabhupada was so tolerant. So tolerant. So, so he had that mood, it doesn't matter. what people are, the point is that, Krishna consciousness is beyond geographical barriers. Everybody should be included in that, right? And there is Lord Nityananda's mood also, of course. Yeah. Okay. He said this was especially pleasing to Prabhupada, who wanted local people to be given Krishna consciousness, that they come to the temple, take initiation. I could not wait to go to Vancouver every year with a bunch of new aspiring devotees and see his smiling approval. It was such a sweet, innocent smile, a smile that I can never forget. He would give individual time to each of the new devotees while they sat in awe and admiration of him. When later I wanted to travel and preach, Guru Maharaj encouraged me greatly. He was always so pleased when he heard I was traveling. One of his last instructions to me was that I should die like a soldier in battle. I was so happy knowing that Guru Maharaj knew my heart and directed me accordingly. A few hours before Guru Maharaj left his manifest pastimes on this earthly realm, a devastating day for all his disciples and admirers throughout the world, I had a dream about him. He was looking so effulgent, sitting and smiling. I was feeding Guru Maharaj prasadam directly into his mouth, spoonful after spoonful, and Guru Maharaj was smiling, worthy, and accepting the prasad. This went on for some time, and when I awoke to hear the news, he had left to join Krishna in the spiritual world. It came like a bomb. I felt the pain of separation from him, feelings I had never experienced before, an intense feeling that was unlike the sufferings of this material world. Guru Maharaj is the most amazing personality, so brilliant, so radiant, so compassionate, so wonderful in every respect. His glories are unlimited and his compassion has no bounds. His greatest concern was the spiritual advancement of his disciples. We, his disciples, are eternally grateful for his causeless mercy and love towards us. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to request Shankari Mataji to come and say one or two words. Shankari. Sure. Yes. Shankari Mataji. You can hear obeisances after listening.
Hare Krishna. I'm not again qualified to talk anything about, but I just want to talk a few words about my Guru Maharaj. So I was initiated, and that was the first time I met him, and I was so full of love, and he gave me so much of hope. And he gave me so much of faith in the Lord. And I really appreciate what he did for me. And one thing I remember very well, that he told that you have to follow all the four regulative principles and everything. And when I asked him, I've got deities in my house, so what should I name them? And he told immediately Radha Govinda, which I like it very much. I don't know how he read my heart. And it made me cry like that. I'm really very, very grateful to my Guru Maharaj. I'm really very fortunate to be his disciple. With these few words, I will just end my word. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you for being here.
I'd like to request Damodar Kulu. Damodar is here. Maybe. Yes. Hare Krishna. Please say a few words.
Hare Krishna. My apology to all Vaishnava assembled here that I am not a speaker at all. Hardly I speak to many people. As a disciple of Gopala Maharaj, I am very happy that in very beginning he gave me an opportunity to serve him directly, and that started in Mayapur, GBC meeting we did along with Asian devotees. First time they were visiting to India and Mayapur, Jagannath Puri also. But we traveled with them in Mayapur Parikrama. That continued afterwards to Vrindavan, continued to Juhu, Mumbai, continued to Chicago sometime, also continued to Milwaukee, and that was a very big opportunity he gave me. I am very happy and I remember all those things always whenever I remember him. So I am very happy about that. And here last year, I never planned that I would go to Baltimore or something to meet him. But suddenly I saw Maharaj continuing staying there for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. How long he's going to stay, I do not know. So I decided Friday, he's going to stay 2-3 days more, then I'd go. Then next day morning I started and went there. After 12 hours actually I reached there. 1 hour delay in that time, but our time is 11 to 11 there. So that was very fortunate that I decided suddenly and went and meet him. And many of things like once from school to college to Juhu, Bombay, then Hare Krishna. Once from Bombay I went to, for some time I was in Pune. Then once somebody not actually Bhajan, maybe was, he was the president, he said, Maharaj is calling to you. You have to go to Bombay and meet him. Then I thought, why is calling to me? I am in Pune and he is in Bombay. Then from rumor I understood somebody complained about me. Then I was surprised, but I was happy to, I am going to meet Maharaj. And he is calling to me from Pune to Bombay to meet him directly. So I was happy also that somebody complained about me. Because nobody never complained from the childhood to young age. Nobody never complained about me. So I was happy. Both I went to complain and going to meet Maharaj from one place to other place, traveling distance maybe 3-4 hours by train, Singhar Express. So I went there and by afternoon I met him and next day morning came back. So the question was why he called me that the president complained that I am talking about others. So then Maharaj said, don't look to others. Try to improve yourself. So that was his reason of calling and discussing with me. So I remember that frequently. Even now I am not very advanced devotee or very good in many things. I try to do, that's all. I saw recently, first time Janmashtami, many volunteers are working here, I am serving there. I hope, I pray to Guru, Krishna and Gaurang that their results will be multiplied by 1,000 times. Hare Krishna.
And he actually lives in the local area and he's often working on a lot of people. Privilege is a very amazing, wonderful hammer to go to. Also, I'd like to call Rabindranath Guru. Rabindranath Guru is from the Prague city. He and his wife are doing a program there single-handedly for many years. 2 hours a week, yes.
Hare Krishna everyone. I'll be brief because I think short of time. So, a lot of memories of Guru Maharaj, but I think the most important part that struck me was his kindness and his personal touch. He would always be, compassionate about his disciples. They're doing well in their chanting, they're doing their sadhana, they're reading Prabhupada books. And that's why, Prabhu said, he kept his lectures very, very simple. For those instructions he wanted every disciple to imbibe, take those instructions, because those are the foundations. Otherwise you cannot grow further. So I think the few of the memories I will share, we moved 10, 15, more than 10 years back, we moved to Midwest area. We used to go to see Maharaj in Atlanta. And then he didn't see us that time. And then we didn't tell him that we had already moved. And then he had some devotees call us that because Maharaj wanted us, he didn't see us and he was worried about us. He just wanted to know how we are doing and whether we are going to see him anywhere. So that was one of the examples. The other example is when we went to meet him in Zuhu. He was meeting one of the billionaires, the Hindu brothers. And he was expecting one of them to meet him, and then we went to see Maharaj at the same time. And he asked us to wait, but the Hindujals, they came late. And then Maharaj came to us a couple of times just to say that, okay, I'm very sorry, I'm keeping you waiting and all that. So he didn't have to do that, he could have just gone and came back, next day. He was very busy, but he still had that, he was thinking, okay, I should be meeting. And I think meeting disciples was his main priority. He was always worried about his disciples. So I think I will not take more time, but I think those are some of the things that stand out from Maharaj. And I think they used to begin with seeing Maharaj on the altar, but I think that's something that we will definitely miss, since our day begins. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Shall we continue, Mataji?
Hare Krishna. So I would just like to share a few memories, like how I first met him, how I was attracted and what made me take shelter from him. So I had just done my master's and I had met his disciples and we were very close with them. But then I moved to upstate New York because I wanted to start my first job. So, and then, we had a long weekend and then Mataji just said, you can just come over, our Guru Maharaj is coming, you should come meet him. So when I came, it was late night and then next day, I listened to his lectures, I saw him, it was very nice. And then, always what you do when you meet sadhus, you want to give them some donation. So I had given a donation, when Mataji took me to meet him, so I gave him some donation. So when he saw the check, because he knew I had just started that job, so he said, do you have enough? Like, you're giving me so much. I was so touched by it. I was like, oh my God, I could not believe that he was thinking about me, asking me like because I had just started the job and if I had enough, that I was giving him some, big amount. It was not that big of an amount, but that made me feel like, no, that's, this is somebody, whom I want to see as my guru, whom I want to follow, that is how I met. And then I also told him at that time, I am living with one of his disciples' daughter in upstate New York. And, it's very nice and her name is so-and-so and she lives in Chandigarh. So next time, next year, I had taken shelter, so we were about to take initiation. So when he came to the airport, we all went to receive him. So when he saw me, he called me. It was after an year, so he called me. He said, I met your friend's mother in Chandigarh and I met her also. She was also there. So I was very surprised, like even after an year, he remembered that I had told his disciple's daughter I was living with, That was something very amazing to me. And there was also another incident, that happened. So with one of our very senior God brothers, we had some, you can say, disagreements, and because of which we were not talking. But we used to come together to meet Guru Maharaj. So throughout the time during the stay, there was nothing, it seemed everything was normal. But when we were, sending him off, he wanted to go to another city. So he called me and he said, you should all live together nicely. You should not be, having disagreements. So you should all make up. So nobody told him anything that what had happened. But still, he could understand that there was some disagreements going on because of which we were not even talking. I was really, really surprised and I was shocked. I couldn't believe, how could he understand? Because nobody told him anything. So at that time I realized, what a guru is, how a guru is. You don't have to tell him anything, but he can understand. He can read your mind and he knows what is best. And he did not call that senior disciple, he called us because he knows we have just started. We are the ones who need to, understand how we should be dealing with other devotees, how we should be living with them. So those are some of the things, I was like, whenever I see Guru Maharaj, I'm like, oh my God, he knows everything. And also, last year when he came to Detroit, he said, why do you think I come? I take so much pain to come. You should all come and meet me. Because my Prabhu had gone to India and he had not even called him. He said, you could not give a call to me? It was like that, So he's always very caring, very personal and very caring. And always, whenever we used to meet him in India, he would ask us to take a book. Even last time when we met in December, he gave us a book. And first time also when I met him with my father in India, he said, you should read Nectar of Instruction. So always, he was always telling us how books are actually very important and how, we should understand that what Prabhupada has done for us and how we should appreciate it. So these are just some memories that I wanted to share about my Guru Maharaj. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Gopala Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki. Next, I'd like to thank you, Mataji, for your very wonderful memories. Next, I'd like to call Manjari Mahima Mataji. Okay, Advaita Charan Prabhu will be speaking on her behalf. Both of them have recently moved to Naperville. Advaita Charan Prabhu's disciple was known as Rabindranath Maharaj, and they're both, in that way, disciples of both spiritual masters, so representing each other.
Krishna. So I'm reading this offering on my wife's behalf. There's a Vyasapuja offering. She had to leave because son was growing restless. Most respected and beloved Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble millions of obeisances unto the dust of your divine lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you and your divine appearance, all glories to your beautiful and transcendental pastimes. O most glorious Gurudev, your glories are endless. You have unlimited qualities. With my limited capacity, I cannot cover that vast ocean, but I will try to glorify some of your qualities. Guru Maharaj, your dedication to your dear Gurudev Srila Prabhupada is remarkable and exemplary. Your every breath, every drop of sweat and blood has been dedicated to the service of Srila Prabhupada. You have served the mission of Srila Prabhupada tirelessly. You are an empowered Acharya and have set an example for all of us to follow. Despite your poor health, you never compromised with Mangalarati, sadhana, worship and deities and Vaishnava Seva. You always stretched yourself to serve others. You put special emphasis on connecting everyone to Srila Prabhupada and engaging them in his service. You would meet devotees and hear and address their concerns, often delaying or even skipping your meals and rest. This was heartbreaking to watch. I also noticed how you always gave time to me whenever I approached you and helped and encouraged me to continue growing in Krishna consciousness. And despite putting in so much hard work in guiding devotees and in so many projects for the growth of the movement, I personally witnessed how you would always glorify Srila Prabhupada and gave all credit to him and all other devotees. You were always very careful and respectful in your interactions with everyone. I also noticed that you did not differentiate between your disciples and disciples of your god brothers. Whenever my husband and I interacted with you, you guided and encouraged us together. You treated him no differently than your own disciples. You gave the same love and care to both of us. O Gurudev, you are mercy personified. I know how wretched and fallen I am, full of faults and with unlimited shortcomings. However, you never withheld your mercy. You gave me more than I deserved, for which I am eternally grateful. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, Krishna says, one should know the Acharya as myself. Krishna was so merciful to me that he appeared in the form of you, dear Guru Maharaj. However, now you have disappeared from our vision, and the pain is unbearable. I wish we could get your Vapu association for much longer. You mentioned that while Vani Seva and Vapu Seva are both important, Vani Seva is more important. Now your Vani and my memories of you are my only solace. Please bless me that my attachment to you and your instructions grows deeper with each passing day, and I can serve with my mind, body and words in a way that is pleasing to you. Please bless me with the eyes to always see you and feel your presence. I beg your forgiveness for the many offenses I have committed because of my intense conditioning. Your shelter is my only hope. Please always keep me in the soothing shade of your divine lotus feet. Your daughter Manji Mahima Devi Dasi. So nice Gopala Krishna Maharaj Ji ki jai.
Devi Murti.
Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Gopala Krishna Gosvami Niti Namni Prabhupada Sasayitam Yaprakasha Vitirecha Vicharam Kritan Sadhu Bhagavad Padaya Te Namah. Dear most Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your incessant service unto Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, you are an ocean of mercy and kindness, an Acharya who has set an example for the entire world. You are like a touchstone, transforming countless lives. Your love and devotion to serving the instructions of Srila Prabhupada are beyond comprehension. Even as your body grew weak and fragile towards the end of your pastimes, you remain fully determined to fulfill Prabhupada's orders. Your divine presence has made indelible impact on this planet, and your absence has created a profound void. This year has been particularly difficult for all of us due to your sudden departure. We feel like orphans without your physical presence and personal guidance. During your final Zoom call with your North American disciples, His Holiness Janardhan Maharaj informed you of your discussions about your arrival here in USA. Your response was, let's see, man proposes, God disposes. You already knew that you were soon to end your pastimes here. Guru Maharaj, even though you are not physically present with us, we still feel your presence and guidance whenever we pray. You answer our questions either through some devotees or through your lectures. You once mentioned in one of your classes that attachment to the spiritual master is not on a sentimental level. Crying for Guru Maharaj, offering garlands, and dancing before Guru Maharaj are not the real signs of attachment. Real attachment is in following the instructions of the spiritual master. I beg at your lotus feet to remain attached to you in the way you desire your disciples to be, by following your instructions. I beg for your forgiveness for the offenses I've committed at your lotus feet by not fully obeying your instructions. I beg to always take shelter at the dust of your lotus feet. Your most insignificant disciple, Devi Murti Devi Dasi.
Srila Gopala Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki. I'd like to invite Balaram Prasad Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for, first of all, inviting all of us here. I'm actually, when Maharaj left his planet, I was very saddened because, I have this connection with Maharaj years ago. Whenever Maharaj comes to Bangalore, along with Jayapadak Maharaj, they were very good friends. They are always together, jovial. I don't know, we have seen him many times like that. Once he came to ISKCON Bangalore, that's Hare Krishna Hill, then he came to Sheshadripuram. And somehow his lectures and his jovial way of dealing things, both of them, they fight each other, it was so nice. And somehow that connection always, I always like that way, Maharaj. And in US, wherever I went, Maharaj is there. I went to ISKCON Tobacco, he visited that particular time. I was in Detroit, he came to Jagadur Prabhu's house. And I went to ISKCON Silicon Valley, he came there. Somehow that connection was there. And Maharaj, wherever he goes, I have seen that without the first Mangalarti, if he is there, he is the one who is doing Mangalarti. He never misses Mangalarti. I went to ISKCON Vrindavan. He came around 9:30 in the night from Delhi, and next day morning, there also I saw Maharaj. Some connection was there. I don't know what it is. And when he left his planet, I turned on my TV and YouTube for hours. I was listening to memories of Maharaj. I was so much touched. And that's just what I know because of the time. But I want to share one thing. During my browsing the memories, etc., I came across one shot which was very touched me. In fact, I sent it to Haruda Mataji also. In Nandagaon, in Vrindavan, Krishna and Balaram, they came in the dream of Pujari. And they said, go bring, it's Hindi, I don't know much Hindi, but I heard, go bring Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Go bring Gopal Krishna. He doesn't know who is Gopal Krishna Maharaj. And then what he said, I want to, Bachna charana hai. That means graze the cows. I need to graze the cows with him. Go bring him. And he doesn't know. And then he went to Barsana, it seems. From Nandagaon, that Pujari went to Barsana, asked, who is this Gopal Krishna Maharaj? I don't know. Who is this Swamiji? Nobody knows. And finally he came across ISKCON, some devotee, and said, oh, Gopal Krishna Swami is from ISKCON. Then finally he came and he asked, where is Gopal Krishna Maharaj? No, he's in Delhi or something. Finally he brought a picture, a picture of Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and he put it in front of Nandagaon temple, inside the temple. And even today that is there. That means, see how Krishna is so much dear to Gopal Krishna Maharaj. He wants to play, graze the cows along with him. Think about it. So, all glories to Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Thank you.
Krishna Maharaj ki. I'd like to invite Shyam Prabhu, who's still here. He met. He left. Okay. Anyone else would like to speak about Maharaj? Anyone? Last one is Sita Kishori.
मां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव सदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण Hare 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 Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you and your wonderful services unto Srila Prabhupada. O Gurudev, you made 225 temples all over the world. You became GBC of 300 temples. I heard that you are Prabhupada's man, and because you fulfill all the instructions and desires of Srila Prabhupada. When Balram was small, in a meeting of yours, when you were giving sweets to him until the box ran out of sweets, Balram was very happy while holding the mountain of sweets. When I was small, I would only sleep when my mom would turn on the Jeev Jago song on YouTube. You gave every breath in Srila Prabhupada's mission. Hare Krishna, your insignificant servant had Sita Kishori. Now I want to say a poem. G. Grateful to Srila Prabhupada. O. Offered his whole life to Srila Prabhupada. D. Devoted to Krishna. A. Advanced devotee. L. Loving devotee. K. Kind to everyone. R. Respectful to all the devotees. I. Inspires everybody. S. Simple living, hard thinking. H. Humble to all devotees. N. Never offending any devotee. A. Accepts devotees. G. Gives us Krishna consciousness. Obedient. O. Obedient. S. Saint. W. Worships Krishna with his whole heart. A. Appeared just to save us. M. Merciful. I. Is conman. Hare Krishna.
Actually, the last one, thank you, Sita. The last one is Sia.
Hare Krishna, dear His Holiness Gopala Krishna Gosvami Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you and your divine feet. I'm so fortunate to see you last year in Detroit. You gave all of us so many blessings. Your presence made me so happy and joyful. 2 weeks we are going to Vrindavan. Please give me the opportunity to take darshan of your samadhi. I love your song of Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. It is so sweet to hear from your voice. Please bless me that I follow your last instructions, chanting and reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Please help me to grow under your blessings. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to express my grateful heart to you on this special day. Your servant Sia. Hare Krishna.
Srila Gopala Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So I really apologize. We're just 20 minutes late. So please forgive us for the delay. We had a very, very wonderful remembrance and glorification of Maharaj. Now we'll do a very short Pushpanjali and Aarti. Promise we will keep it very short. And then there's the feast. Many devotees have cooked all day for the feast, so please don't leave, please stay, and after this we will go directly to the feast. Please come forward, we can all stand up and come as forward as you like. Kanakabja, would you like to do we have to do the Pushpanjali prayers? We'll keep him then here. Yes. And we'll recite them together to kind of simplify it, make it easier, make it quicker also.
आरती प्लीज है अभी तो उसके बाद आ गई आप पुष्पांजलि कर सकते हैं पुष्पांजलि प्रेयर्स डिसाइड कर सकते हैं क्या कहते हैं मंगलाचरण कहते हैं मंगलाचरण पूरा नहीं करें ओके ओके ऐसे Om together. Om Jnanam Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swa Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamcha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Riti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayataya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvala Premadya Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostade Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidamine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gauravir Vibhava Bhumesvam Nidesha Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathayate Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Bodhishe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Avaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Now I'll chant Guru Maharaj's pranam mantra, and we'll do it 3 times. So after each time, you can offer flowers. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Gopal Krishna Goswami Niti Namine Prabhupadasya Sahityam Ya Prakasha Vitiryacha Pracharam Kritavan Sadhu Bhagavat Padayate Namaha. Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki Esha Pushpanjali Samarpayami. So please repeat after me. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Gopal Krishna Goswami Niti Namine Prabhupadasya Sahityam Ya Prakasha Vitiryacha Pracharam Kritavan Sadhu Bhagavat Padayate Namaha. Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki. Please repeat after me. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Gopala Krishna Goswami Iti Namine Prabhupadasya Sahitya Prakashan Vitiryacha Pracharan Kritavan Sadhu Bhagavat Padayate Namaha. Esha Pushpanjali. Damodar Prabhu, can you come and sing? Damodar Prabhu. And Rabindranath Prabhu, can you do the...
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Gopala Krishna Gosvami Iti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale श्रीमते गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी इति नामिने प्रभुपादस्य साहित्यं यप्रकाशभितिर्यच प्रचारं कृतवान् साधु भगवत्पदाय ते नमो प्रभुपादस्य प्रकाशय भितिर्यच प्रचारं कृतवान् साधु भगवत्पदाय ते नमो नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नाम जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य संसार दावा नललिढलोक त्राय कारुण्य घन घनत्वं संसार दावा संसार दावा नललिढलोक त्राय कारुण्य घन घनत्वं संसार दावा प्राप्तस्य कल्याण गुणार्णवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्द प्राप्तस्य कल्याण वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्द वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्द वन्दे गुरो श्री महाप्रभु कीर्तन नृत्य गीत मादित्र माधन मनसर सेन महाप्रभु की रोमांचकं श्रुतरंग भाज वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्द वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्द वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्द वन्दे गुरो श्री चतुर्विध श्री भगवत प्रसाद स्वादर्ण तृप्तान हरि भक्त संगा चतुर्विध श्री भगवत प्रसाद श्रीदैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्द कृतैव तृप्तिं श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपार माधुर्य लीला गुणरूप नाम्ना श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपार प्रतीक्षणास्वादनलोपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् निकुञ्जयूनरतिकेलिसिद्धे यायालिर्भिजुक्ति अपेक्षणीया निकुञ्जयून तत्रादिदाक्षादतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् साक्षादरितेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तस्तथा भागवत एव साध्वी साक्षादरितेन समस्तशास्त्रे किन्तु प्रभार्य प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत् प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि प्रसादात् भगवत् प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् भायं स्तुवांस्तस्य जशस्त्रिसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् 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 জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় ভগবৎপাদ জয় ভগবৎপাদ ভগবৎপাদ জয় ভগবৎপাদ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Kishore Kishore, Jaya Kishore Kishore, Jaya Kishore Kishore, Jaya Kishore Kishore, Kishore Kishore, Jaya Kishore Kishore, Kishore Kishore, Jaya Kishore, Jaya Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar, Sri Radhe. Jayo Radha Madhava Sri Radhe. Jayo Gaura Hari, Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Jaya Gaura Hari. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, 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 Gaur Hari Bol.
Go Brahmanande! Hari Bol! Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki! Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki! Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki! Jai Om Vishwapat Paramahansa Parivrajakacharya Aso Tarshata Shishimadhi Divangis Abhay Narendra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki! Jai Om Vishwapat Paramahansa Parivrajakacharya Aso Tarshata Shishimadhi Divangis Bhakti Siddhanta Sarsi Thakur Maharaj ki! Anand Kori Vaishnavinda ki! Namachari Haridas Thakur ki! Prem Sura Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda ki! Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki! Vrindavan Dham Apanavi Dham ki! Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar ki! All glories to Son devotees! All glories to Son devotees! All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga! Shri Vyasapuja Mahotsava ki! Thank you everyone so much for coming and spending your evening here for such a long duration. We're very, very honored by your association. And please enjoy the feast and take some home. There's so much prasadam and it's all Ekadashi. Hare Krishna. Hare